It's Monday, May 7. This is the news on PBCJ. I am Simone Absalom. A flash flood warning is in effect for low-lying and flood-prone areas of all parishes in Jamaica until 5 o'clock this afternoon. The persistent trough across Jamaica is producing unstable weather conditions across the island. The forecast is for widespread showers and thunderstorms, which could be heavy at times, to continue affecting sections of the parishes on Monday, with a gradual reduction in rainfall activity on Tuesday. Flash flooding is therefore expected over low-lying and flood-prone areas of the island. A flash flood warning means flooding has been reported or will occur shortly. Motorists and pedestrians should not attempt to cross flooded roadways or other low-lying areas, as strong currents are likely. The search is on for a new director of elections. The Electoral Commission of Jamaica, the ECJ, posted an advertisement in a Sunday newspaper. The deadline for the submission of applications is set for May 31. The position of Director of Elections became vacant on March 15 of this year when, in a surprise move, then Director Orette Fisher resigned, despite him having a matter pending in the courts to determine his future at the organization that he had led for over a decade. Overall, he spent 23 years at the ECJ since he joined as Assistant Director of Elections under the management of then-Director Major Winston Sutherland. It was widely felt that veteran former Assistant Director Earl Simpson would have been offered the job to act, but reports are that there was opposition to his elevation to the top job. The Ministry of Agriculture will be taking steps to counter the purple blotch disease wreaking havoc on scallion production in sections of Manchester and St. Elizabeth. Some farmers in New Forest, Manchester, and Comapen, St. Elizabeth, say they have lost some crops due to the disease. The purple blotch disease first appears as small, water-soaked lesions that quickly develop white centers. As they age, the lesions turn brown to purple, surrounded by a zone of yellow. Minister of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries Audley Shaw says the fisheries sector will come in for sharp focus while the government leverages the sustainable use of ocean resources for economic growth, more popularly known as the blue economy. He told the House of Representatives as he opened the 2018-2019 sectoral debate last Tuesday that his team will be looking to more stringently protect and monitor the assets of Jamaican waters.
What this means is that we'll be looking to more stringently protect and monitor the assets of our waters. At the same time, we have to take better advantage of it. The World Bank estimates the annual average of the Caribbean Sea at some US $400 billion. They further predict that the entire sea economy could be generating $3 trillion annually. In this regard, under the new fisheries bill, we will establish management regimes to exploit such species as sea cucumber, sea urchins, and glass eels, new areas of opportunity that have tremendous value in the global food chain. To this end, Mr. Speaker, we'll be embarking on an active program over the next 3 years to ensure our fishing industry reaps the rewards of our blue economy.
In addition to economic growth, leverage of the blue economy is supposed to lead to improved livelihoods and jobs while preserving the health of marine and coastal ecosystems. In regional news, the CARICOM and Commonwealth Secretariats signed a new Memorandum of Understanding to further strengthen cooperations between the two organizations. CARICOM Secretary General Ambassador Erwin LaRocque and Commonwealth Secretary-General Patricia Scotland signed the MOU, which will facilitate joint implementation of programs and projects while harnessing the experience and resources of the two organizations at a ceremony at the Pegasus in Georgetown, Guyana on the weekend. The MOU will build on areas of interest agreed to on an earlier MOU signed in 1996. The areas of cooperation will include the economy, supporting more inclusive economic growth and sustainable development; climate change, strengthening the resilience of small and other vulnerable states, including adaptation and mitigation against climate change; justice reform, promoting more effective, efficient, and equitable public governance; crime and security, promoting the development and implementation of programs aimed at combating crime and enhancing citizen security; and youth, sports, and gender, promoting increased youth development. In the United States, the Trump administration has announced the end of temporary protections for thousands of Honduran immigrants. According to the BBC, up to 57,000 people could be forced to leave the United States by January 5, 2020, when their temporary protected status will be revoked. Hondurans were granted this status after Hurricane Mitch hit the Central American country in 1998. The Department of Homeland Security said conditions of the country had notably improved since the disaster. It noted that the 2020 deadline gives time for people with TPS to arrange for their departure or seek an alternative lawful immigration. In sports, Jamaica's senior reggae girls will head to Haiti today ahead of the first phase of the CONCACAF Caribbean Women's World Cup qualifiers. The team, which jetted to Orlando for a week-long camp to spruce up preparations for the tournament, will bow into action on Wednesday against Guadeloupe before tackling Martinique and host Haiti on Friday and Sunday, respectively. The qualifiers in May constitute 5 groups, with only the winners of each group set to advance to the final stage of the Caribbean round, scheduled to take place from July 21 to July 29. The top 3 finishers of the final round will qualify for the 2018 CONCACAF Women's Championship, where they will vie for a spot in the 2019 FIFA Women's World Cup to be staged in France. And that's the news. Do stay with us. The weather report is next. This is PBCJ's weather report. Thanks so much for staying with us. Let's start with our local currents. In Kingston this afternoon, we're seeing warm temperatures between 24 and 28 degrees Celsius. We're also seeing a forecast of scattered showers this afternoon going into this evening. Let's take a look at our 7-day forecast for Kingston. We're looking at possibility of rainfall going throughout the week with a temperature between 23 and 30 degrees Celsius. Over there in Montego Bay, St. James, we're seeing the same thing as Kingston, scattered showers forecast throughout the day. We're seeing temperatures between 11 and 28 degrees Celsius, the lowest temperature forecast for this evening as the sun sets at 6:33 p.m. Let's take a look at our 7-day forecast so we can plan our week accordingly. We're seeing a possibility of rainfall going throughout the week, and we're also seeing temperatures between 23 and 29 degrees Celsius. But we're hoping that the weather will change at some point. Let's take a look at what could be happening across the island today. Now, the trough, as you would have heard earlier in the newscast, there's a trough affecting the island, and we're seeing scattered showers across all parishes. Warm temperatures, though, between 26 and 29 degrees Celsius, a forecast for today. Tomorrow across the island, we're seeing scattered showers still forecast, a temperature between 24 and 29 degrees Celsius, the highest forecast in the western end of the island. In our Caribbean forecast, we're seeing scattered showers in the central and western end of the Caribbean. It's pretty cloudy out in the eastern end with temperatures between 26 26 and 29 degrees Celsius forecast for tomorrow. Let's look further afield in our travel planner. We're looking at areas in the United States. Sunny skies forecast for Los Angeles. A little bit of rainfall forecast for Miami. Sunny skies for New York with some cloudy conditions. And we could be getting some rainfall in Atlanta tomorrow as well. Minimum temperature 9 degrees Celsius for the areas in our screen. Highest forecast 38 degrees Celsius. And that is clocked forecast for Los Angeles. And that's it for the weather report. Thanks so much for making it PBCJ. Remember, we are the People's Station.